Hi there, I'm Sylvia Plester-Silk, and 10 Minutes to Joy is your weekly invitation to reset, recharge, and rediscover your most joyful self through aha moments and simple energy techniques. Today, we're talking about being an empath in a chaotic world. Hi, I'm Sylvia, and let's get started. Have you ever wondered if you're an empath? Many of us are. And if you're an empath, what you're most likely experiencing, what you are most likely experiencing is feeling things very deeply. And I'm meaning just not your own emotions, aches and pains, struggles, but also the aches and pains of struggles of those that you meet in everyday life. For many people, being an empath, it feels like it's being a little bit of a prison. However, when you learn to manage as an empath and you learn specific skills to help you cope, it actually becomes a deep strength, because there's a level of intuition and knowingness that can come as an empath once we unburden from the traumas, struggles, negativity, judgments, you name it, of other people and of ourselves as well. We are in a blame society, and we've been in a blame society for a lot of time. However, it got worse, in my humble opinion, during COVID. We didn't have anyone to clearly blame that was responsible for this horrid disease taking over the world. And we like to place blame, not accountability so much, but blame. Whose fault is this? We started to see on social media, even in the news, that people were blaming one another. We started to see unprecedented cruelty and fighting between those we loved and cared about and ourselves or other people. And in this level of discord that we are in currently in the world, when we turn the news on, we're inundated with negativity and judgment and confusion because this station says that and another station says something almost diabolically opposed. In certain countries, that happens. We get on social media, we're again inundated with this negativity and challenge. So, what can we do as little old empaths to support ourselves? Let's talk about that in a moment. First off, if you're very curious whether you're an empath or not, you can go to onpurposetransformations.ca and scroll down until you see the icon that says, "Are you an empath?" Below that, you'll see a continue button that will take you to a self-assessment that you can take. No, you won't get a report. I won't be taking your email address, so it's perfectly safe to do that. There's no repercussions from doing it. It's just a gift from me to you. So, as an empath, let's talk coping 101. We talked a few weeks back about boundaries. Well, you might want to have a revisit of that. What do I mean by boundaries as an empath? One, I mean energetic boundaries. So that is setting out an intention each and every day to shield your energy field so that love can come in, but all of that other nastiness and struggle and strife that doesn't belong to you doesn't come into your field. And you can do that in a couple of ways. The first way is that you can imagine this beautiful white light coming from the heavens, the universe, God, whatever your belief system is, and seeing it come or sensing it come around your energy field, out the edges of your energy field, as this beautiful white light that goes all the way down your energy field and into the ground where it's grounded. Of course, as always, you're going to ground yourself, drawing those roots down through the ground before you do that process. Another way of doing it is imagining yourself being inside a one-way mirror where you can see fully and completely outside of it, but the shiny part of the mirror is on the edges of your field to just shine out or reflect away from your field any negativity, judgment, pain, and strife that isn't yours. We have to remember as human beings that taking on someone else's pain and suffering serves no one. It will cause you as an empath to be completely depleted and burnt out eventually. And it also prevents that other person from the opportunity of working through their own issues or challenges, which is a really super empowering thing to do. Another way to set energetic boundaries is to say a mantra similar to this. And I'm going to read this to you. I ask God, the universe, my angels and healing guides to surround me in the golden white light of protection, so only that which is in my highest and best good will enter my field. And you can say that similar to a prayer or a declaration each morning, if declaration is a more comfortable way for you to look at it. Other boundaries you're going to think about is, who do you want to spend time with? I was speaking with a client a week or so ago about being out in public on a date with her partner, and total strangers coming up to her and sharing intimate details that were quite heavy. Being an empath, in new training, I'll say, she hesitated to set a boundary saying, I hope it all works out for you, and I'm just going to go back to my table. So we can say simple things. We can have a bunch of statements in our back pocket. So when we get stuck in that situation, we have a way out. And so statements you could use are, excuse me, I need to go. I'm sorry that you're experiencing that. And I just, I just need some time to myself right now. I hope it works out. Something along those lines so that you feel like you're not being cruel and you're just not taking on the energy. If these people come to you and they're kind of what we call the energy vampires that just cling on and download all sorts of stuff at you, you can immediately pull across a boundary or a protection, and like pulling across a shower curtain. I often use the analogy of the dome in Toronto, the sports dome, has a retractable roof, and our boundaries or our energy shields can have that retractable quality to them. The other thing that becomes really important is sometimes we need to just do ongoing maintenance for our energy fields as an empath. And that can be at the end of each day, releasing other people's energy. Again, there's a couple of ways to do this. One is to say, I now release, sorry, let me try this again. If anyone's energy has stayed with me today, let it be lovingly released to them at this moment. And you can see or visualize or intend that the energy goes back to their higher self where they're in perfect choice, whether they deal or don't deal with something. Or you can alternatively see it going into a beautiful healing garden up in the heavens, up in the universe, in the stratosphere. Other choices that you're going to want to make as an empath is how you spend your time. So I know as an empath, even though my husband enjoys shows of mystery and murder, if I watch them, my sleep gets impacted in a negative way. I feel stressed. So I don't watch them anymore. He watches them when I'm not around, or I leave the room and I go and do something like my artwork that brings me joy. So really start as an empath to understand what is yours. A great way to know whether something's yours or somebody else's is you can muscle test. Uh, and I can talk about muscle testing another time if you muscle test. Is this my sadness, anger, frustration, headache, arm ache, whatever? Because sometimes it's tricky in the initial stages to know if this is mine or someone else's. If it is yours, then you can then work with it. Feel those feels, as I say, or work with an energy practitioner or therapist that can help you work through those levels. You can also, if you don't muscle test, then you can simply tune into your body and ask that emotion, energy, is this mine? And you'll get a subtle sense of yes, it is, or no, it isn't. Is this someone else's? Again, sense whether it feels close to you or not. So there's muscle testing. You can use a pendulum to get a yes or no answer. And that can really help. So if it's yours, work with it and do what you need to do to take accountability and to honor and use compassion for yourself so that you can have joy. And if it's someone else's, use some of the release techniques that I've talked about to just simply release it. I always send it to the other person's higher self so they can be in choice, so that it doesn't feel like it's a ricochet of negativity back on someone else. I think that's not the most compassionate way. And again, I will say to you, holding on to other people's issues, challenges, worry for them does not serve you and it does not serve them. Sending them love can be helpful, and then letting it go. And when I'm saying about letting it go, I always do that with love energy. So if I'm angry about something, I work through the anger and then I would release it back to that other person. So there's a few thoughts about being an empath and some great techniques to help you cope with everyday life, especially when we're in such a chaotic world today. Remember to shield yourself when you're watching the news, or don't watch it, or shield yourself when you go on social media, or spend less time on social media. Have a great week, and we'll see you back here next week on 10 Minutes to Joy. That's a wrap. Remember, small moments create big changes. Keep growing, keep shining, and I'll see you next Friday on 10 Minutes to Joy. Please share this recording with somebody in your life that you know would benefit. Thank you.